All right, so this is going to be interesting to be heard. But anyway, my name is Evan Strong. I make videos like this about, well, I just kind of dwell in the area of how the clothing that we wear affects our bodies. So I always talk about the lacing of our shoes, the tying of our shoes, and everything that we wear clothing-wise that affects our bodies, pulls them out of their natural center lines, natural rotations, natural balance, and natural function that we just would and do have until it's altered by things within the world in 2024. Today's the 13th of September, 2024. So my prerequisites that I always say are to lace your shoes with my technique found within where my content is placed. I have it multiple places within there. That includes tying your shoes evenly over toward the inside on both feet to reinforce internal rotation traveling up the entire body, and pairing that with removing the tags stemming at the tongues of your shoes up through the entirety of everything you place on you clothing wise. So again, I dwell within clothing, not only physically, literally, but I have a deep understanding of the human body's natural function, and the way I approach that is through the clothing we place on it, because that's the only thing that we ever actually have physically altering our bodies at all times, or at least potentially altering them. So I always talk about very basic things such as keeping the pants up off of the hips, and ideally higher in the front than in the rear where the waistband sits. The top of the shoulders, the seams on the tops need to be behind the shoulders, again, to have internal rotation. The seams at the edges of the shoulders should not go farther out than the edges of the shoulders. So those are some very basic things. Just again, to allow the body to naturally function, I always make very bold claims on how we should not have to stretch unless something very major happens. We should not be exercising just for the sake of exercise, and we should not be trying to work out to get to a certain capability level. The human body is designed universally, all humans, in the image of our living God, who is Jesus Christ, and it is designed to work. So there's my intro. Now this is going to be a little bit weird to hear, but I'm going to talk about how athletes are not that normal. When we look at athletes, I'm on a soccer field here. I've played a lot of soccer in my life, definitely played a lot of soccer. When you look at athletes, I'm not focusing on one sport. This goes for every sport on any part of the earth. Any human who's playing, again, it's because of the clothing. When you look at athletes, it's very rare to see, as I talk about, as I show, again, not opinion, but just universal truth that I shine light on, it's very natural to have a lot of internal rotation and be open, right? Posterior tuck of the pelvis, open into internal rotation, right? And that's very uncommon to see in athletes. So athletes are training drills and exercises and routines to try to get more athletic. But as I mentioned, the human body just works. I do not stretch, I do not work out, and I do not do exercise for the sake of exercising. I just have learned through prayer and through trying things within my clothing how the body is being altered from its natural function. And that's all it needs to be, is natural, and it will work. Every single human within their own capability. So when you're watching like a soccer player, for example, running up to a ball to kick into the goal, if those prerequisites that I stated at the beginning are not done, again, within universal human design, and they're wearing cleats that are, first of all, very much too small for their feet. The human foot needs to have room to operate width-wise, but then also just about always they're laced in a way that is collapsing their arches. So you see athletes a lot of times like this, in so close, rather than being open internal. right? Like, if you are going to just like move and open up, you cannot have collapsed arches. You just will not ever get there. You will not ever get to a natural function. So if a soccer player, even a professional, has their cleats laced incorrect, they're getting very, 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 very sore because they're trying to force their body to operate in a position that it is not designed to. And I've mentioned so many times how we cannot tell our bodies what to do. I can't tell mine what to do, he can't tell his what to do, and she can't tell hers what to do. The body just works. So, in only one way, in only one position, okay? Again, no opinions, universal truth. I've gone into very, 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 very great depth within tens of hours at this point of content you can go see. No dispute to this once you see the truth of it. So, athletes a lot of times are not actually very naturally functioning. They are doing so many drills, stretches, foam rollings, mobility work to try to stay in a normal position that they never get to. So if you're going up to kick a soccer ball, wearing synthetic soccer shorts with a tag in the rear, putting your hips into anterior pelvic tilt, collapsing your knees, collapsing your arches, glute medius is not allowed to work, core is then deactivated, synthetic material that your body is trying to reject while it's being encapsulated within it, and that's just a pair of shorts. And then you're trying to run up to a soccer ball, arches collapsed, you'll see them go like this and like that. Well, if you are just a normal, open, functioning human, and there's a soccer ball and you're gonna come up to it and kick it open and internal, you could train and train and train and train to try to get something like form, but doing that within clothing that's altering your body, you're fighting something that you will never win. I, in that case, would never win that fight, if you will. It will not happen. So you have to allow your body to just work, and then it'll just do its thing. You can just be open and internal. You can be on a soccer field and have just mobility and just do whatever you need to do, because the human body is designed to do whatever it needs to do. So this goes for football. This is American soccer, but American football, anything. I mean, I can name any sport is the point. It's basketball, lacrosse, cricket. I mean, like any sport ever. Again, unless you're like shoeless and wearing natural clothing that's sitting in the proper position, or if you're wearing good footwear laced and tied with my technique, that is essentially like being barefooted very closely. Unless those things are happening, you will just never, again, I, in those cases, could never operate as a normal human being. So athletes are wasting their time. Truth. Yes. It's great to play sports if you'd like to, but what's not so fun is stretching and warming up beforehand, and then stretching and foam rolling, icing, massaging afterward. Again, I do not stretch, I do not do those things. And yesterday I did a side flip tutorial and I fell pretty hard on well, especially the first side flip. I fell pretty hard and I'm fine. What else? I mean, just very recent, I've been doing quite a lot of physical activity. I have not warmed up to it. I have not eaten or drank in the morning before I did those things. I have not had to stretch afterward. It's a positioning of the human body. Again, universal for every human. This is not some kind of like claim that is my opinion. This is shining light on truth that any human on any part of the globe could do within their own clothing. Again, the tens of hours of content that I have shows slight little modifications with nothing but a pair of scissors that any and every human on the globe can do within their own clothing and find out that these things are true. This is zero opinion of mine. So, yes. Anyway, like this internal rotation that I have, you'll see a lot of athletes standing like this. And if they get touched or pushed, they'll just fall over, because if their arches are collapsed, again, if their pants are sitting anterior, if their shoulder seams are in front of them in external rotation, they can't work. But if they're just open and proper, then you're just very, very, very stable, naturally, with zero training it, right? So, all right, anyway, I'm not dogging on athletes. There's some sports that I have very much enjoyed to play throughout my life, but we don't need to train the body to work. It works. We need to stop restricting it from working. And I've shown how to do that. I've shown just about everything that you would need to do within my content up until this point, the 13th of September 2024, on how to do that. Again, universal human design. So, anyway, it's all so much simpler than anybody could have imagined, than I could have imagined, that I could have hoped for, that he or she or any of the experts trying to tell you, do this mobility workout, do this exercise routine, take this pill, do this diet, come to this clinic and have us do this to you. No, no, no. Let your body work the way it's designed to, and you're done. Universal truth for all humans within their own situations. That is it, okay? So, athletes are usually not actually very natural. They might gain muscle mass, which I've talked about, how we do not need to gain muscle mass. It's about a positioning. They might have a lot of muscle mass. They might be able to do certain drills within an unnatural position, but they are not naturally functioning people for the most part. And in a lot of cases, they're actually more abnormally functioning than the rest of the population, because they are deeply ingraining an incorrect positioning of the body by doing drills, again, within clothing that is just actually doing a lot of damage to their bodies. So, and that's apparent when you see that they're doing so much foam rolling, stretching, and all the things that come after, like a game, right? So, should not happen. It should not happen. It should not. Again, no opinion, universal truth. Try it on yourself. I've given all the information within my content so far, free, universal truth. So, anyway, yes, the body just works. We need to just allow it to. It's designed perfectly by our God, who is Jesus Christ. So, we're not going to try to change how it works and to be successful in that. Okay, thank you.